Hey, this is Bradley with Blue Cord, and this is a sad day for me in that I got to replace my truck. Susie and I got to a point where we are tired of continuing to sink money into this thing to keep it on the road. This is an older model, it's a 2008, but it's got a V10 and a 6-speed manual. We've done a lot of custom upgrades on this thing to really take it to the next level as far as a work truck. Super cool modifications we've done to this thing, and whoever the next lucky owner is, they're going to really appreciate what they've got. It's sad. This thing is a behemoth of a truck, and she's done a lot of work for us over the years. We're really going to miss her. Okay, so here she is. This is my replacement for my old 2008 Ford F-250 XL with the V10. This has the Godzilla, so this has a 7.3 liter V8 engine. Absolutely awesome. Ford designed this engine to be as comparable to the V10 as possible, and in many situations this big block V8 exceeds that. I am not at all happy about losing my 6-speed manual, but what I got in its place is the heavy-duty 10-speed automatic transmission. This F-250 has the upgraded transmission over the standard. I'm really excited about that. The first time I pulled up on the hood, I was pulling up on the grill because that's how the old one went. That was funny, a little embarrassing. So I got this with the twin battery, extra output for the alternator. Lots of great goodies on this thing. Now the engine is the 7.3 liter big block Godzilla, produces 420 horsepower and close to 500 foot-pounds of torque. This engine was designed specifically to replace the V10, the 6.8 liter that I had in my previous truck. That engine was awesome, and it sounded even better. This is classic American V8 muscle. It sounds good, but doesn't sound V10 good. But this does make more power and more torque, and this thing pulls amazing. It's awesome. What we have right here is a custom gauge that's linked directly to the system with the airbags that raises and lowers the truck, and it allows me to keep the load level so the rear end doesn't squat. This is it. I had this installed specifically for this purpose, so I could back under the trailer, raise the whole back of the truck, put the ball up in there, and that minimizes cranking, and also, as I said, minimizes squatting. And also too, when you back up to the trailer, I set this to about 60 psi, and once I start loading the trailer, I can see where the air pressure gauge is going, and if it decreases at all, it tells me that my tongue weight has decreased since I loaded the equipment. So I move the equipment a little further forward, the pressure will rise. It doesn't tell me exactly what the tongue weight is, but it does give me some valuable information to tell me whether or not the tongue weight is too light. Now this here is a custom phone holder designed specifically for this vehicle that fits right here in one of the vents, and it screws on. This does not move. It is solid, and I would highly recommend to anyone to have a separate hands-free device in addition to your GPS and everything else that you have on the center console. This is a must. The last thing you need is some phone flopping around or coming loose, or even worse, it drops to the floor. No, you don't need that. This right here is the way to go. So I had this 3-way dash cam system installed, and for any of you, I recommend this for everyone, but especially if you're hauling equipment with a trailer. People do idiotic things, pull out in front of you. So I have a couple things to mitigate that. I mean, you can't avoid every single accident, but the dash cam is there to prove that you didn't do anything stupid. So this is a forward-facing 4K resolution. This is a VIAIR. I could put the link in the description below. This is a cab-facing So they can't say that I was on my phone or not paying attention. That looks at me and everyone in the cab, and it shows absolutely that I was paying attention. And anyway, that's very handy. So that's the second channel, the first channel, and the third channel in the back is rear facing. And again, situational awareness, especially when it comes to dash cams. The more directions that the dash cams are recording, the better it is for you, especially if you're not at fault. Okay, so that switch right there controls a separate air compressor that my train horns run off of. This way I can shut it off. That way I don't come out to a dead battery. There's a train horn. It used to be on my stick shift, but this is about the best I could do in this new truck. There are 4 horns. It plays a beautiful minor chord. I would take this for a drive and lay on the horn as I'm crossing the tracks just down the road. I get a lot of enjoyment out of that, especially if somebody's tailgating me, because I'm not breaking the speed limit fast enough for them. When I get up close to those tracks, I lay on the horn and they hit the brakes so fast because they think a train's coming.
That's pretty convincing.
They stopped. Absolutely love it. That never gets old. Okay, so some of the mods I've made on the outside of the truck and in the bed. This is a custom bed liner manufactured by Gator. This is aluminum. Absolutely awesome, and I'm going to tell you why I love it so much here in just a moment. So, instead of the old style type of tonneau cover where you have a clasp on this side and one on that side, and you have to undo them both and kind of unscrew them a little bit. They get in the way, they get hung up. I got this cover specifically because it does not have that. With a single pull of this cable, it unlatches both sides. So whether I'm standing on the right side of the truck or the left side of the truck, especially considering if the trailer's hooked up, I don't want to climb over the thing or walk around all the way around the front of the truck and to the back to undo those old style latches. Regardless of what side I'm standing on, I pull it once, both of the latches come undone at the same time. I love these integrated tailgate steps. It's absolutely freaking cool, man. This is awesome. This sure beats the old way, especially for me with how bad my back and my knees are. Trying to climb up into this thing. Okay, so most of the equipment that I had in the other truck made its way into this one. My wife was pretty particular when she asked me not to clutter up the cab. And I'm going to show you some additional amenities we have in there here in a minute, but I want to take you through some of the loadout that I have in here and why I have this stuff. So you want to be able to get to the things you need the most, the easiest. So, you know, I got my gas cans here on the back. I have my toolbox, and I have some of my other tools here, and a couple other things. You know, the jumper cables, not that I plan on using them for myself, but you know, to be that good person, see someone else broke down. So here is the compressor along with the pressure gauge for the train horn system that I have installed here. It also has an auxiliary so that I can hook up an air line. I can either use that to inflate tires, blow out the radiator screen, whatever I need. That's 120 PSI on correction, 160 PSI on tap at all times. And that goes to a twin tank system that I had installed under the truck. I'm going to show you that. Before we get there, there's a secondary air compressor over here. Wow. That is the one that is controlled by the cab switch with the pressure gauge that controls the airbag system. So that one's there. All right, let's go underneath the truck. This Reaper rolls too good. Okay, I think we got that under control. And the top bin, I just have a bunch of extra parts. Not so much in the way of tools, just some extra stuff. First bin, or the first drawer, I have a lot of electrical components. Again, some extra small parts. Here we have our wrenches, sockets, and other similar items. Additional sockets, easy outs, and other hardware that proves very useful and necessary when troubleshooting out in the field. And then cutters, hammers, persuaders, and other heavier tools, including the dual wheel tool. Thanks, Carlin. These things are awesome. Get one if you don't have one. Ventrac fasteners and other small hardware. Recommend that you always keep a case of this stuff on hand, just in case. Keep everything in your truck, and that way, no matter where you're at, whether you're home or whether you're away, you're always going to have the stuff that you need. So in this vehicle, my wife doesn't want me to keep the back seat cluttered. She wants me to keep it completely clean and open. I wonder why that is. We're too old for that. We're getting old, man. Do not forget your first aid kit. I got all kinds of great stuff in here, just in case. Be prepared for as much as you absolutely can be. Now, with as much as I've covered on the truck, I guarantee you I'm missing some stuff. Even some custom things that I did. I had so much done to this truck right after I got it. I didn't want to have to replace my old V10. It breaks my heart, but it was a 2008, and she served me well for many years. And unfortunately, corrosion, rust was becoming a serious issue, which is not a problem on any Fords that are, 2018 and newer, because the bodies, the panels, all made out of aluminum, never going to rust. So as important as the truck is, the trailer is also super important. And I've made a lot of modifications and custom upgrades to make this as versatile and as usable as absolutely possible. Let me show you what I did. The first thing, which you could get from the manufacturer, of course, is a storage box on the front. Absolutely recommended. In this thing, I have every single Ventrac belt, at least 2 additional in here, which is why it's so full, because I got so many attachments. And some extra couplers, ferncoes, and things when I happen to do a drainage installation. And there's some fittings in there for the jackhammer. That's kind of cool. I don't use it often. I kind of forgot those were in there. While we're at the front of the trailer, this is something that I'm extremely proud of, and I am so happy that I had this put on here. My nephew actually welded this on, and I'll leave a link to his channel below. He does some really cool stuff in his workshop. But this vise has saved me so much trouble out in the field for all kinds of stuff, from sharpening chainsaws to fastening things that happen to get bent in there. It's just, the uses for this are limitless. Absolutely awesome. Okay, again, while we're at the front of the trailer, something else that saves a lot of time and frustration and storage space as well is this custom cone holder that I had made. Again, my nephew Owen. I came up with the design, but he fabricated and welded this for me. Absolutely love this because it's so handy. If you have to set up the cones, they're right here. They don't get in the way, and you don't got to store them. A couple things I want to show you. This is a custom spare tire holder. Not the easiest thing to use. I've been thinking about modifying that with some type of hydraulics or system. Basically, you undo this pin and this whole thing lowers, allowing you access to the tire. It ain't the lightest thing to handle. I've had to do it once where I had a tire blowout. It's handy, again, to have it under the trailer where it's not in the way and you don't got to store it. But I'm telling you, I don't move around like that anymore. And to get under here and undo this thing and get the tire, they're not the lightest things. Here I had 2 custom storage boxes, again, welded by my nephew Owen. I had these installed. super, super handy. You can't get enough storage. I'm telling you, the bigger the truck, the bigger the trailer, the more storage you get, you're gonna find a way to use it up, and you do. Every single D-ring on this deck, I added myself. And people look at that and they say, do you have enough D-rings on that? Now they're joking around with me, and without missing a beat, I look them right in the eye, as serious as ever, and say, no, I don't have enough. In fact, I have another box of them, and I plan on adding those at some point. But the more attachment points you got, the more versatility you have, especially when you're hauling multiple attachments. The most attachments I ever took on a single job was 6. This is a 20-foot trailer, 100.5 inches wide, and it has a 4-foot beaver tail. In my opinion, this is way better than the old landscape trailer. I had an old 16-footer many years ago I replaced with this. Not only is this wider, you don't have the restriction of the wheel well. You get so much more space on here. It allows for so many more possibilities in the way that you can load. Yeah, this is the way to go. I would have gotten a 24 or something longer, but the problem is my driveway. It's pretty steep, and when I back into it, there's a clearance restriction. And I had to get this driveway demoed, regraded, and then repaved so I could back this trailer on here and the back end wouldn't scrape. Yeah, true story. So I custom made these railings. Not that they're designed to really hold the equipment in. I think it's more really for me, the peace of mind, especially if I'm, say, like putting pipe and 10-foot sections of pipe on here. It's nice to know that there's something keeping that in, even though they're all strapped in. I think for me, psychologically, it just helps me knowing that I have some kind of railing in place that keeps things from falling out. Oh boy. Oh, I should have brought the creeper in here. Now, what makes this trailer really special is the suspension. This is Torsion Bar. Absolutely awesome. The same thing that the big main battle tanks use. The Torsion Bar Suspension. I'd venture to guess that this trailer rides better than the truck does. And that's saying something. This trailer, that suspension is absolutely awesome. I love my equipment that much that I want to make sure that it has the most comfortable, most cozy ride, the least impactful as possible. All right, let's get out of here. Which way did I get in here? So those little legs under there, that's a really handy feature as well. In the event that I'm hauling something really, really heavy, I just don't haul the bench rack stuff around. I've hauled some track loaders and things that have a lot more weight. You put those little legs down and it prevents the back of the trailer from tipping or from pulling up on the back of the truck. Now, something I'm going to talk about, but I'm not going to demonstrate it right now, is you see the 4-foot beaver tail. I actually got a special system installed where the beaver tail, this section actually raises and becomes level with the bed. Why I would ever want to do that, I don't know, because it's not hydraulically operated or powered, but it's just a really cool feature. And this has integrated ramps that store up underneath the trailer, and when I arrive to a location, there are little doors on the back. I open them up, pull the integrated ramps out, and I can load and unload the equipment. I just love that everything has a space that could be stored. It's one less thing that I got to throw in the back of the truck or try to store somewhere. Having it integrated into the truck or into the trailer is the way to go. Now, I've covered a lot of ground in a relative short amount of time. If you happen to see something in the video that I didn't actually address, please leave it in the comments below. Ask your questions down there. If there's something specific that you want to see with the truck or the trailer, I'll reshoot some of it, make another video, and answer any of your questions. Thanks so much for taking the time to spend with me today, and I'll see you in the next video.